Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Brief Dive Podcast, where we talk about deep topics for a brief amount of time. Joining me today is
Val Maddox. I'm 19 years old. I'm doing music. Check out a 4-year college right now.
Val Maddox, good friend of mine for 2 years. So today we're just going to be talking about what they don't tell you when trying to make a business or a brand as a team. So I'm just going to go straight into the first question. So have you dealt with criticism for your brand? If so, how have you gone through that?
Yeah, I most definitely dealt with criticism through my brand. So I make music, that's my passion. I release them on all platforms. So anybody has access to my music. And when I first started off, I was not very good at it because I would do everything for music. I would write my lyrics, I would do my beats, I would distribute them, I would set them up, I'll promote it, all of that. The stuff I was posting when I first started was I'm not gonna lie, it was some hot garbage. So I was bound to receive criticism. That's what happened. I was getting clowned and stuff from my early works. And at the time, it can be demotivating. It can let you down and stuff. And it can make you feeling sad, which I let happen to me low-key. But over the years, you just learn to not really care about other people's opinion, because at the end of the day, you're doing what you like, even if it's not the best, you're doing what you like. So dealing with criticism is something that's bound to happen. Even your favorite artists, your favorite, singers, rappers, they're constantly dealing with criticism because it's just how it is. And even for someone small underground like me, it's even more bound to happen because people just love to hate on you whenever you're first starting. They're thinking oh, it's just a dream, it's never gonna happen, why you're wasting time on it. They just start criticizing your work. But you have to learn that that's your passion. Don't let people bring you down just because they're not willing to invest the time you're investing on your craft. That's what my take on criticism is, and how I deal with it is simply not caring. You can receive good stuff, which brings you up and stuff, and when you receive bad one, you shouldn't let that affect you as much as it really can affect you. Hold in those emotions.
That's inspiring. Dang. Off the jump, you're cooking already. Have you dealt with criticism for your brand? Okay. Yes, a lot. But I've let it get in my head a lot, especially with the early works. Even the present day works, people don't even like. So you just kind of deal with it. What has helped me? Remembering why I started, that has helped me. And remembering how much I love what I do, that is what helped me. Another thing, talking to someone that is a fan of the podcast or that enjoys the podcast, because they kind of remind me, they kind of make me excited for it too. But yeah, I get a lot of constructive not even constructive, just plain old criticism for it.
Straight up hate.
Yeah, I'd let it get in my head. I want to be completely honest, completely raw and honest. There's so many times where I wanted to just delete the channel.
Wow. That's deep.
Yeah.
That's really deep.
Wanted to just delete the channel, and honestly, that was not too long ago. Scary part is that was probably I have so many phases where it's just 2 weeks ago, I wanted to just oh my gosh. I had a rough 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago. Right? And I was so low, I was just I did not like anything that was going on in my life. I don't know why. I was just depressed. And then the podcast came to mind, and then I was bruh, what's the point? There's no one likes it. No one's watching. No one does this. People don't like it. I don't like it. This is just embarrassing. There's nothing I gain from this. In fact, this is an ego kill if I'm talking about my mental health on the screen. So what's the point? And then I spoke to some friends that were fans of the podcast, and they talked me through it. And they kind of talked me out of it a little bit. Doing stuff like that helps me out a lot. Speaking to people that remind me of who I am, who I once was when I was at a happy state. So, yeah, that's my take on the first question.
Yeah, man, it's good you didn't delete the channel.
Yeah, it's really ups and downs when you're trying to make your own brand, your business. Remember why you started. Talk to people that inspire you, that help you feel good, that build you up, and remember why you love what you do. Because if you don't love what you do, then you're probably not going to go that far.
Most definitely.
Any other take on that first question?
Any other take? Just what I said before, don't take it to heart, Don't take criticism all that deep. At the end of the day, someone else's opinion, Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but at the end of the day, it's theirs, it's not yours.
Yeah, it's not easy when you do something you love and then people just get in the way and then they just want to make you not love what you currently love. So it's just very, very annoying. But yeah, next question. So building your business or brand as a teen. What they don't tell you is that balance, school life balance or work life balance. So how important is balancing your work with school, with working out, with soccer, with other things in your life? How important is balance?
Balance is very important. Like it's one time management skills. Like having that is like one of the most valuable skills anybody can have, because you gotta understand that like as much as like our side hustles is like my music and your podcast is as much as important as it is to us. It's also an option. Like we're doing it because we want to do it, and like we're not obligated to do it. Unlike school and like working out and stuff, because at the end of the day we're all trying to get a degree. Those scholars out there, that's the main objective, getting that degree, and like nothing can really get in the way of that. Even your most passionate works, you cannot let that get in the way. And so that's what you're not really told when starting up something, that there's going to be a lot of responsibilities along the way, especially school, especially your health, your social life, because like that's also very time consuming.
Oh yeah, social life. I didn't think about that.
Oh yeah, I recommend everybody to have a calendar, because like you gotta know what you're doing. You can't be planning stuff last minute or like have something come up that's unexpected. It's really important to like have a balance, because one day you can just crash out. Looking back, you didn't go to the gym for 5 days. You didn't return an assignment and 2 weeks old, and you just have to stay on top of everything in a fast-paced world, but just gotta do stuff. That's how it is.
Yeah, that's what's scary when like, the world is moving, but like the world's gonna move with or without you.
Definitely.
Type of thing. And they don't tell you about the social life when you're trying to build a business or build a brand. It's really a sacrifice. It's the biggest sacrifice. We could be going out playing basketball with you.
Yeah, like our friends just called us like 20 minutes early. He's like, yo, come play basketball with us. We could have dropped the camera and went with them, but
yeah,
we got to stay dedicated.
Stay dedicated. That's not easy. How was making those sacrifices for you?
Making those sacrifices is hard because like I'm not like I'm not popular or anything, but I'm always like outside. Friends are always hitting me up saying like, yo, like let's do this, let's do that, and it's very tempting. I'm like, I really want to hang out, I want to have fun, but you have to set boundaries to that. You gotta know that like you're in a new stage of life. You're in college or whatever, work, you're doing your side hustle, whatever it is, and like those are your responsibilities. So you got to take that in consideration whenever you want to do other stuff. In my case, like I always want to go like to live concerts. I want to go jam with my friends and stuff, but sometimes I just gotta stay here or at home and like cook up and stay on top of my stuff.
Cook up. It's really just a sacrifice with who you hang out with and what you do. Balance. That is not, it's not easy. Yeah, like what you said with the calendar, it's kind of what you need. You need to stay on top of it. If you really want to do school and try to build a brand, then prepare for making a lot of sacrifices. Like,
definitely.
How do I say this? There's a saying where if you try to chase 2 rabbits, you catch none. So if you try to take this with a grain of salt, but if you try to do a lot of things all at once, your energy is going to be so diluted in each of those things. You're going to be so mid in all of them because you're trying to balance each and every one of them. So know your number is what I'm trying to say. Know your number of your max limit of how many things you can focus on. Don't take too much on your... Actually, I take too much on my plate, so I don't want to give that advice. But if all you can focus on is just 3 things, then just make it 3 things, because that's like where the most productive you is focusing on 2 or 3 things. Like that's what it is. For me, I think it's 3 or 4 things I could focus on, maybe 5. But yeah, in other days it's just 1. So you got to figure yourself out and your energy levels and when you can do things and when you can't. So balancing is very important to me.
Yeah, know your limits.
Know your limits. Do you tend to bite off more than you could chew?
What do you mean?
Like in life, you tend to take on more than you can handle.
Most definitely, man. Like, I'm a musician. No bragging or anything, but I know how to play piano, guitar, drums, and bass.
You can't. He's good. He's really good.
And like, I always want to like just get the best at them. Like I want to be like really good at each one of them, but I also got to balance everything else. So I have to make some sacrifices. Like I can be this good at drums, but I want to be like this good in my major music technology. So at the end of the day, this is how the spectrum's gonna look, because this is drums, this is my music tech. It's not gonna be how I want it to be. I'm gonna have to sacrifice like wanting to be good at drums for what I really truly want to do, which is be a producer and stuff. So making sacrifices, it's hard.
Do you think hanging around other people that like also are trying to make their own businesses, do you think that helps you out a lot too?
That can help you out a lot, because you can get their perspective, you can get their connections, you can get their audience too, especially if you collab with them. Because me personally, I have like a lot of music friends, and like I've learned so much throughout like just making music with them, hanging out with them, talking to them, socializing with them, and I met new people because of that. Like if it wasn't for me like socializing with other people that are also trying to start a brand, starting to grow out, then like I wouldn't have the opportunity to perform. I wouldn't have the opportunity to distribute my music, because those are connections and knowledge I gained by interacting with other people like me who's trying to build something too. So it's really good to like hang out and revolve yourself against like similar minds, people who chase the same goals as you.
Yeah, and with mindsets that you want to achieve as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like the saying, you are the 5 people you hang out with.
I was going to bring that up in the last video, but I couldn't touch on it.
Now you can touch on it right now.
But that's true. You are the 5 people you hang out with.
That's so true. That's so true. Especially with like when you make a sacrifice and try to balance your life with 2 things that you want, you're going to offend one sort of way or be bad in one sort of way. Like, let's say you have so many hats you gotta put on. Like, you're the boyfriend of someone, then you're someone's son, then you're someone's brother, then you're someone's friend, then you're someone's teacher, then you're someone's student. Mm-hmm. So, like, sometimes you gotta put on so many different hats. Like, okay, there's a business side of me, then there's a music side of me, then there's a marketing, podcast, friend, son, brother. So, it's like, you got to keep code switching when you're trying to do so many things. So like what helps you code switch a little bit?
What helps me code switch is like making like that transition to like the other stuff as smooth as possible. Like if I'm already doing like something music related, then the next thing I should do is something like kind of music related, If I'm working on a song, event that should take place is like hanging out with somebody who likes to make songs. Or, if I'm in school doing my homework and stuff, next event that should take place should be like getting help from like a teacher and stuff. Just like be smooth with it. Because like obviously I can't like right now I can't just pop out my guitar and start making music, because like we're doing something completely different. So what helps me like put on all these different hats is just like you gotta be flexible with it, like open your mind to who you are and like your responsibilities and what you are. Like you say, you are the brother of someone, then you are the student, then you are like musician. Just have them in mind.
I'm gonna ask you for advice live on camera right now. This is just for me, not even for them.
Okay.
Like when you're trying to make your own business,
mm-hmm.
and make your own brand and be out there, how do you deal with fear of offending a certain group of people?
Fear of offending a certain group of people.
Yeah, I think for a while I struggled with that, and I'm still trying to work my way out of it.
Yeah, I mean, right now, like no disrespect to this generation, but like it's most definitely the most sensitive generation out of like the past ones, and like it's really easy to like offend a group. What I do to make sure that like I don't cross that line is to like keep myself in check. Like I ask my friends, I'm like, okay, this is my song, or like this is what I'm saying, or this is what like I'm about to post. Like, does it offend you? Will it offend like your younger siblings? Will it offend your parents? Do you think like that will happen? And if any of the answers is yes, and like I just don't post it. If it's offending somebody, then it's bound to offend somebody else too. At the end of the day, you are going to offend somebody no matter what you do. But the mission is to not like make it a big deal, like to not like set fire to yourself. You really got to be careful about what you post, and once you post something, it stays out there forever. So that's really important. Mm-hmm.
Like asking the 5 people that you're close to and that you respect, like see if they would get offended to it.
Most definitely. Yeah, you gotta get their thoughts on that, because you never know. They're your closest buddies, and if they get offended with it, imagine people who are not your closest buddies, people who don't know you, people who don't know your background, people who don't know like what you truly mean. You gotta be careful.
Wow. Dang. Gee.
We got a special guest right now.
Special guest.
His name is Ilte.
I put him on the mic.
That little arch.
What's going on?
We're skedaddling right now.
We're skedaddling. We're in the middle of something.
What time are we gonna be here?
Like 9.
What's up, baby girl?
Pull up your fan.
We're skedaddling.
Bro. Ew, this is from me, please.
Yo, Philemon is there too, bro. Philemon's in there. What you doing right now?
We're recording. You're live on the podcast.
Oh,
Fifth floor.
Oh, got something to say. Hey, man. Hey, what the hell? Stop.
When you're trying to focus and get into your flow state, the creative state, and that's where it's easy to like ignore criticism. How do you find like your flow state? That's what I'm trying to ask.
I have two ways to find my flow state: my musical way and like my way to like lock in for school or for the gym or anything. So for music, like before like I start creating anything, before I open up a session, like I spend like at least 10 minutes listening to like my favorite bands, my favorite artists, my favorite singers, my favorite rappers, and I get inspired. I take in what I'm hearing and like I get inspired, and that's how I get in the flow, I get in like I get in the right tune into the musical mindset. And once I feel ready, once I'm like already like locked in that, I move and like start making music. What gets me in the flow for like other stuff, like for school, for for the gym and stuff, it's like being prepared for it, like knowing to myself, okay, this is gonna take this long. I'm gonna work this hard, and I'm gonna be this ready for like the next time. That's how I get put in the flow state for basic works.
So you think like changing your atmosphere as well and where you put yourself?
Most definitely. Like if you're like already like in a bad mood and stuff, and you want to start doing something you truly like for you the podcast, for me music, then it's not gonna be as good as if you're already like in that environment and like that good mood, into that musical mood for me, into that like one motivated mood. So you gotta put yourself in the right environment first before you do what you do.
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree. For me, flow state. My flow state comes when it comes. It just pulls up. But like it's more of like a discipline thing. Like I'm supposed to make the flow state. The flow state doesn't make me.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you kind of work while you're not in the mood, the more flow states you eventually cultivate. If that makes sense, because you don't get motivation in work. You work and then you get more motivation as you continue working. The only issue is just starting and like getting out your bed and getting out your butt and then doing stuff. So that's really the issue for me with flow state. I think it's just like it's not really an issue. Just that's the issue for many people. Just getting up and then just starting it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really it. But yeah, finding a flow state is important when trying to build your brand, because that helps you ignore constructive criticism, because like you're in your zone, you're locked in. Even if it's like a flow state throughout the week, you're not thinking about anyone else, right? You're not thinking about bad things, good things. You're just thinking about yourself and what you need to do. Yeah, is there any finishing touches that you want to add on what people don't tell you about building a brand as a team?
One thing they don't tell you too is that it's an evil world out there. A lot of stuff can happen to you. You can get scammed. Your ideas can be stolen. You can be put in a bad contract if you get like hired or like recruited by a higher power. So you just gotta be really careful and like get informed, like stay up to today's world, like how everything navigates. Because like in my case, like music nowadays, like the industry is not the same as it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Same thing for like your podcast. Like everything is just constantly changing, and you gotta be like set to date to like what you're doing and know that like what is going on, and like don't be misinformed. That's what I gotta say.
The more you know, the less offended you'll be.
Most definitely.
And the more you know too is like the more you can like maneuver your way through, I guess, getting to the top, and without getting pulled away by anyone. And when you're saying like when you're the music industry or the podcast industry is dangerous in these streets. What these people do, what they try to lure you into. And we hear a lot of celebrities, like weird stories and all that stuff. So, yeah. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, there's a lot of like people I listen to that argue and like spoken out about bad stuff. Like every rapper that signed a deal automatically, or any artist, band that signed a deal is automatically giving like their creativity away to like the higher powers or the higher managements, because they control you. They take a big cut out of you. They do everything. Like they basically control you. That's why I personally want to be an independent artist. I want to grow organically. Yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff that happens out there. That's why, like you mentioned, like you hear a lot of bad stories that goes around. You hear a lot of like people mad about the contract they are in. It happens.
Yeah. That's one thing they don't tell you when trying to like build yourself and build your brand, is that getting to the top the right way is a lot harder than it is the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so easy to like cheat, or it's so easy to, I don't want to say sell your soul, but it's just so easy to just like cheat your way to the top.
Yeah.
So that's why if you feel like it's taking so long, that means you're doing it the right way. You know, I need this advice. I'm not giving this advice. This is literally just me thinking out loud. Maybe I'm receiving this advice as I'm giving it to myself. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about building your brand as a teen. It's not easy. Balance. Surround yourself with good people, and stay on top of it. That's really it, right?
That's really it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
And whatever you do not end it. Do not close it. Do not. Always keep it on.
yeah, I need that advice. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully it helped. If it did, let us know in the comments. What business or brand are you trying to build? Let us know down in the comments. But other than that, thank you. Thank you, Val, for joining the podcast. I really appreciate it. You spitting some good wisdom on this mic.
Of course, this mic right here.
This mic. W mic.
W mic still has battery.
Yeah, hopefully. Reach out to the reach out to the socials down below. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Peep my music, Valmatics, out on
Keep
all
it up.
platforms.
Check it out.